Okay. Here we are, day 5 of the JumpStart challenge for this fall. And I am super excited. Today is Momentum Day. And really, everything that we've done this week is leading up to the sprint, which starts on Monday. Hi out there. I can't see names, so you have to tell me who you are. I'm happy that you're here. So Momentum Day. Yesterday was Money Day. Guys, I sent an email out. I don't know, it probably went out about an hour ago. And it just felt good to talk about some of the foundational key pieces, right, of what it really takes to get from here to there when it comes to finances. Finances can just be, as we talked about, a huge area of stress for people. They can be, can present itself as a huge roadblock or limitation for people, which is very normal. And I've fallen in that club many times before. But I feel like part of my job is to, one, just be completely truthful and share what I have learned from so many people that have gone before me, right? But I've just been like a sponge for 30 years. And so I've glommed up some stuff, some better than others, right? And my job is to bring you the very best of what I've learned. And what I've also been able to walk my talk and live in integrity and put into action. And I've at several points in my life had to transform my finances. And I've done that with very intentional action. And it's only because of the time that I spent first to learn, and second, to really look at my situation honestly and truthfully, and then get clarity, right? We came up with a great t-shirt phrase out there on the beach this morning, if you watched that one, that when you get clear, the money will appear. I love that one because, it's really so true, and it really can't be underestimated. So I wanted to do an experiment today and type into the Google search bar, more money, better life, and see what came up, because I talked in that video about how that's just too general. It's just too broad. And so our minds literally can't sift and sort to the things that really, really catapult us to the next level. So that clarity, that crystallization, and honestly, that if you think about that, what that's also the process of is simplifying, right? It can seem so complicated, right? But I made a point of saying, work on one stream of income first, your foundational income, and get that one solid, right? That is your bill paying, that's your rent, that's your mortgage, that's the lights, all of that. That's the roof over your head. Safety and security has to come first, right? On Maslow's hierarchy of needs, safety and security comes first. You can't even get to health and happiness until you solidify that, right? Well, why is it that we can't be our most creative selves when we're in like financial stress? Really? That's why, right? So you have to gift yourself some grace, and you have to gift yourself, what you need. And nobody else is coming to do that for you. So business ownership is a great way to build wealth. We talked about real estate, we talked about stocks and bonds, and we talked about cash, right, as being the 4 legs of your wealth building stool. If you haven't watched the Money Day, hi Nina, good to see you. Happy Saturday over there in Croatia. If you haven't watched that video, go back and watch it, right? And then at the end of that, we also talked about a limited special pricing opportunity to get in on the ability to work with me further, either through an online course, which is self-paced, you have lifetime access, or, and that's a lower investment level, very doable, or the group coaching, which is a little bit more investment, but you really get an accountability team. Hi, Ahmad. Good to see you. Hi, Shima. I'm so glad you guys are here. So, I'm going to give you some really concrete pieces of homework today in order to continue this momentum and cruise right into the beginning of that sprint, which starts on Monday. Okay. Because it's really important that you just don't let the energy thud on Monday morning and you're like, oh my gosh, like, where's my battery charger? Right? There's been a lot of energy, a lot of tools thrown at you. We didn't even come close to finishing the homework in the workbook. There's some really good stuff there. Right? I thought of the phrase, don't tell me I never gave you anything. I gave you a lot of stuff to chew on, right? A lot of stuff to process. And I'm going to give you even more today. So it's really important. I was thinking about resources coming out of Money Day. I was thinking time, energy, and money, right? And of course, skills and talents, experiences, right? These are kind of our bag of resources, if you will. And, and certainly the environment, the people around us as well, right? And we're all born into different stations in life. We're surrounded with different resources and environments. And so you got to learn how to make the best of what you got. I mean, some of the most successful people I've ever met grew up in really dismal situations, right? I mean, Eminem, right? I mean, J-Lo, I'm just Jenny from the block, right? I mean, sometimes those dismal situations catapult you and you're like, I am getting out of here. I am getting out of here no matter what it takes. And it, backs you into the mouth corner. But what does that do for you? It creates clarity and it creates commitment, right? Because you feel compelled, you're repelling against your environment, right? And sometimes that's one of the best motivators, right? I mean, the stick is very powerful. Sometimes the stick is way more powerful than the carrot, right? But out of those resources, I think one of the most important resources that you can influence, because you can't choose, you didn't get to choose when you were born or where you were born or who your parents or your family was. That was gifted to you for better or for worse, right? And your skills and talents and aptitudes, you didn't get to choose a lot of those things either, right? A lot of times those things pop up even when we're little babies. I mean, I remember my son, it couldn't get him away from a soccer ball to save your life. He just had a naturally gifted left foot and he loved to play soccer and he didn't choose that. He didn't pick it. It was just in him already. And so, those skills and talents, and aptitudes, we're gifted those things. We don't have a strong app. We can grow, we can learn, but we're gifted a package, right? When we come into this world. And so part of our job is to learn how to make the best of those things, right? And people always talk about how time is the most valuable resource we have. And I agree on one hand because, it's limited, right? It's finite in a way. I mean, there's only 24 hours in a day. And no matter how hard we try, we can't make it 25 and we can't make it 27 or 48, even though a lot of us would like that. And so because it's finite, it has greater value. But I've had times in my life where I've had time, and like we talked about, time and no money, which isn't that much fun. But I've also had times in my life where I've had time, but I've had zero energy. And I would say that energy, your personal energy, is one of the greatest resources that you have. And your personal energy is dependent on a lot of different things, right? We talked just a little bit about fuel for the journey. I could talk about this all day long. And if you want more on this, I'm happy to share. And I do share in our coaching environment because what you fuel your body with for this journey is extremely important. Extremely important. If you Zig Ziglar is famous for saying, are you treating yourself like $1 million racehorse? Or are you treating yourself like a $5 dog? Right. And that's that has stuck with me for 20 years because, whoa, I mean, that kind of like gave me a gut punch. At one point, it's like, yeah, it's really easy to treat yourself like a $5 dog and not even realize it. Right. So it is important what you feel yourself. Would you put white sugar and, lard in the fuel tank of your Ferrari? You wouldn't. Your Ferrari wouldn't even get around the corner. Right. So you got to give it premium fuel. You are that racehorse. You are $1 million racehorse. If you treat yourself that way, your body, your mind will perform at a higher level. It just will, right? You will have more clarity of thought. You will have more energy for the journey. And then you can really take advantage of your resources. You'll be more resourceful, right? You'll show up as you, right? And that all comes back to and starts from you managing your energy. And the first step in that is just recognizing that you have the ability to do that. And that is your job. One of your jobs on this planet is to manage your own energy, take responsibility for your own energy. And I think sometimes we take that for granted, right? But because I've had periods in my life where I've been very sick, that my health has been a bit broken, I don't take that for granted, and I take it very seriously. I remember I went to I don't know, I had a sinus infection or something, and I went to a clinic, and it is like the first time I walked in a doctor's office in like 8 or 9 years. And she was asking me who, with my doctor. I said, I don't really have one at the moment. I haven't been to the doctor in almost 10 years. And she's like, why? What's going on? I said, I'm just addicted to feeling amazing. And she's like, okay, nobody ever says that to me. Nobody's ever said that to me. I said, well, because I'm addicted to feeling amazing, I'm committed to doing the things, right, that help me feel amazing. I don't like to feel sluggish because my energy, I've recognized, is the thing that I need to build with the most. Yes, time. Yes, money. Yes, the time and talents of other people to help me build leverage, right? But if I don't have energy, then I don't even have energy to pick up the phone and connect with those people, right? Or grid across the Zoom camera. If I don't have energy, then I don't even have the creativity to look at my finances and say, what could I do here? What could how could I use what I have to the highest and best use? If I don't have energy, then I waste my time because my energy thuds. If it's thudding, then I'm probably sitting on the couch watching Netflix. And that is not building anything other than, I might be exposed to some educational programming, but I'm certainly not building my business on the couch watching Netflix. And I'm certainly not building my health that great. I might need a little bit of rest, and catch up rest, but my body also needs movement. So, energy is honestly, I would put it, if I had to rank number one on the list, it would be energy because, energy breeds energy, action breeds action. And so, really, what I'm trying to give you is with starting with this Jumpstart challenge, going all the way into the sprint, is I'm trying to give you an energy management system, right? I'm trying to give you not just a time management system or a productivity management system. I'm trying to give you an energy management system, and you are the hub of that. You are the fuel, right? Your spirit, your mind, your body, your heart. You are a whole person, and we have to support all of those areas of your being, right? So that's at the heart of it. That's really the heart of it. And and it is important to look at what you're eating. Drink a lot of pure water, clean, fresh water. Put lemon in your water in the morning. Give yourself a huge boost, right? I mean, greens. I mean, you guys, fiber. I mean, all the things that but recommitting to that during this sprint is really important. So during the sprint, speaking of momentum, you're going to set three main targets. You're going to set three main targets. Now, I will tell you that those targets, you may hit them in week 2. You may hit them in the 90th day. I don't know. You might hit them in day 105, right? And that's okay. All of it's good. The main thing is that you have clarity around the targets. Yeah, absolutely. Lemon and ginger, I'm all in. The main thing is that you have clarity around the targets. One of those targets of the three, I want to be around your personal physical health. Okay. And the reason for that is because your energy starts and ends there. Your energy, your ability to build, your ability to build wealth, to build a business, to, show up at your highest and best at your job, your ability to secure that foundational income, the ability to build the visionary income, all of it comes back at the end of the day to you and your energy. And so Your physical energy is the foundation point, and it's very, very important. And that's exactly why on day one of the Jumpstart Challenge, you'll remember that it was motion day, and we talked about getting into motion 20 minutes. I forgot to assign that again for homework, but it's really important that you stay in motion. And that means vigorous exercise, at least 20 minutes a day, and build upon that. Vigorous means not, your slowest pace strolling to the mailbox, right? If that's where you need to start, fine, but then add to it continuously. It's really important that one of those targets be a physical target. Now, for me, I was actually just having this conversation with my husband, not around physical goals, but just around goals in general. And he's like, "Well, you work your best when you put a target out there in it, and then you work towards it, right?" So I want you guys to write down this phrase: pull goals. Pull goals are things that are out in the future that magnetize you towards it, that you're working towards to accomplish, right? But it's a happening, it's an event. So, for example, one of the things that works really well with me in this physical target category is I sign up for an event, a half marathon, or I put a target on the calendar to show up for a running group the first time, or I put a target on the calendar I know I'm going to go to a wedding, and so I want to fit into a particular dress, or I want to feel whatever it is, but something that's going to happen on the calendar. And because I'm compelled to be my highest and best physical self by the time that happens, it pulls me towards it. Okay. Well, this is just my own term. I don't know if anybody talks about it that way, but I'm going to talk about it that way. So it pulls me towards it instead of me pushing towards a non-specified target, like I just want to get stronger. It doesn't work right for me. It's too vague. It's too general, right? Because if you haven't read about SMART goals, you can revisit that, right? Specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-bound. SMART goals. But in addition to SMART goals, I really like there to be an anchor event tied to it at some point out in the future. For me, that's what works best because I get compelled to, go out and train for running because I know in 6 weeks I have to show up to this event and I want to be prepared. Right. So it drives my training momentum if I have this thing that I'm working towards. So that's just me. I'm giving you some life hacks and things that work for me. But oh yeah, Ahmad, the 5 a.m. club. Just kick off your bed at 5 a.m. and do 20 minutes of exercise followed by meditation and some creative reading and writing. Perfect. I love that. That's a perfect segue into where I'm going. So, along with the physical goals, in terms of managing your energy, one of the things you can do best is create a great morning routine. Okay. And I get my concentration face on, and then I'm not smiling very much. So let's see. Exactly where I was going, Ahmad. Exactly. You're reading my mind, sir. So, in addition to the physical target, it really helps to look and jump forward into your workbook and look at the morning routine. And that little phrase, remember, little shifts create big results. I like to think about it like bookends, right? Routine in the morning, a routine at night that sets me up for success the next day. The routines don't have to last long. I love that one, Ahmad, because you're literally probably done in 30 minutes, right? Or 45 minutes. Tony Robbins likes to refer to the hour of power, right? Now, my hour of power, I've translated into some administrative writing time, priming time, as opposed to my hour of power being my workout in the morning, because I've habit stacked, right? My physical, and then on top of my hour of power. So that's been, the result of years of tweaking, right? And I'm not always consistent with it, but when I'm in these sprints, I make extra sure to be consistent with it because it fuels everything, right? And then I give myself a little bit of bridge time in between the sprints. So make sure you do visit this morning routine piece and set your physical target. So One of the things that you're going to see in the Momentum Warrior Circle is the 90-day sprint primer. And actually, I think if I go over there, yeah, can you see that? Oh, no, it doesn't change. I gotta stop sharing and then share again. Hang on, I'm getting there. One of the things that you're going to see in the book, or in the group rather, is this 90-day sprint primer. Okay. I didn't send it out with the email this morning because I didn't want you to get caught up in a whole new set of homework exercises, but this is your primer. And this is going to go through, this is kind of a recap for the last one, assuming that you did it, right? So it's on the front end. It's a little bit confusing. But here's your goals. Goal 1 and the action plan. Goal 2 and your action plan. Goal 3 and your action plan. Now, sifting and sorting down to the most important 3. What are the criteria for the 3 targets? They're needle moving targets. Okay. If you do these 3 things, other things will move. Other things will move. Right? The golden formula that knocked me out of my socks. Yes. Yeah, it's so simple, and yet this formula works. Just try it. I mean, I was doing this for years before I realized it was a thing, and now I'm making it a thing. I'm finally documenting it, and this is exactly what my book that's coming out called Up Level is all based on. Right? It's about the 90-day sprint and really doing the 90-day sprint 100%. Because if you do, it will help you build your wealth. It'll help you build your business. It'll help you build your strength. It'll help you build that legacy that you want to leave your children. It'll help you show up as the youest you can be at your highest and best. And that's what I'm here to help you do. Okay. It is an energy management system and it works. So one of your targets is going to be physical. And if you want to do it my way, you don't have to, but you'll have some kind of pull goal. And then there's a monthly planner for you, the daily habits. Oh, you got it. Happy planning. Okay. So take your time with this resource. We're going to put it in the group. We are going to leave it there. I'm also going to include it in an email. Yep. I am going to send it in the email for the recap. So you'll also have that. Okay. And that sprint is what we're going to check in on every Friday here in this Facebook group. So every Friday now, if nobody shows up and asks any questions or is there to check in, then I'm going to give you an update on my sprint and maybe a little tidbit or 2 of what I'm finding and learning along the way. And then I'm going to be there for 8 minutes, 7 minutes, and I'm going to leave. But if you have questions or you want to plug in or you want to share something, or if you want to use that as added accountability, I'm happy for you to do that. Okay. That's free of charge to you right in this group. And you can do it throughout every Friday throughout the sprint. And then the sprint ends December 19th. So I'm not going to promise what time of day that's going to be. It may turn out to be consistent. I don't know quite yet. I'm going to look at that. But it may be that I just hop in there live. I'll try and post when it's going to broadcast live in advance, so you know. But I probably need some flexibility in my schedule because I do already have existing coaching appointments that day and team appointments. And so, but I am going to hop in there every Friday. Okay. So you can count on that. And then your other 2 targets, one of them I would like to be connected to your revenue or your income. Okay. Possibly both. So your revenue or your income. And so a money goal. So that money goal is really important because it's probably a needle mover for a lot of other areas, right? And again, it needs to be specific. It needs to be a SMART goal. And it needs to be tied to something that you're committed to creating not something that's just nice to have, right? It's not, oh, it'd be nice to make $1 million a month by December 19th. That's not a commitment, right? And we've talked about this. So go back and talk about the criteria for that, but make sure that you really spend some time getting super clear and then boil it down to those 3 targets, okay? And what I would love for you to do is to make these visual. Okay, you're going to write them down in your sprint primer. But one of my coaching clients, she actually takes a huge Post-it and puts it on her wall in her office. And she has yet to not hit a target. I will tell you, it works for her. And I love that for her, that she's figured out what works for her. She's a visual person. She makes it visual. So every day she walks in her space, she sees that. Rita, you're going to create a brand new office. Maybe you're going to have your sprint primers on the wall, just like she will, right? But this 90-day sprint works. Vision boards, right? That's a version of that. Vision boards have even more on it. In this case, and vision boards are really powerful because if you can see it, you can be it, right? If you can see it, you can be it. But vision boards are sometimes I have a lot of pieces moving on them, whereas this and things that you love, this is specifically your 3 targets for this particular sprint, okay? So September 19th to December 19th, and one target is physical, one target is financial, and then the third is whatever you choose, okay? So very simple, but this is a formula for momentum. Now, momentum is really important because, the majority of the fuel is used in the liftoff, right? Like we talked about it. That's why we started with motion, right? 75% of rocket fuel is used at the liftoff, right? At a certain point, if you're doing these things, if you're habit stacking, at a certain point, it's going to become the new norm. You're going to get up in the morning, Ahmad, and you're going to, pop out of bed at 5 a.m. and you're going to do your 20 minutes of exercise. And I'm not saying that's the formula for everybody, but that's just going to become your new norm. That's the way you do it. People will say, what do you do in the morning? Well, this is what I do, right? Your morning routine is pinned down. The reason that morning routine is so powerful and why that power hour is so powerful, no matter what you want to call it, is because it sets the foundation up for the day, right? So when you think about bookends on a day, you may also think about bookends on your week. You might think of bookends on your quarter. Speaking of bookends on the quarter, very important. So grab your calendar right now and look at September 19th to October 19th, right? And October 19th marks the 30th day, right? Yes, absolutely. You work 90 days for your business will work for you. Yeah, this momentum will help carry over. It'll build on itself, right? On that 30th day, on the 30 days in between, in the middle of the sprint, I want you to take a moment to celebrate your victories, okay? For me, I call those princess days. They're victory days. I like to take a little bit of time out to celebrate, relax, and enjoy the fruits of my labors for the last 30 days, right? It's really important to acknowledge yourself along the path, your commitment to the sprint, not just the results, but the journey, right? And, and if you want to have more fun, then make these results really matter to you, right? Make these targets really count, right? Because it will be fun to see your progress. Absolutely. Celebrate our victories, Lillian. It's so important, right? So treat yourself to some things that are special for you that day. I usually on a Princess Day in my sprint, I usually take myself out to lunch to someplace that I love to go. I love to eat by the water, right? I like to take some time out. Sometimes I'll treat myself to a small physical item of clothing or jewelry or something that marks the time. Because then when I look at that thing, or it's a bracelet or something, it reminds me that I'm doing good. I'm doing okay. I'm on track, right? Keep going. It encourages me all the way along the path. So for me, that's just part of my formula. You need to figure out what it is for you. I know that for Abigail, And maybe for Chad on one of these jumpstart challenges, it was to go to the beach on that 30th day. Just spend some time plopping your feet in the sand and put your chair there and just breathe for a minute. Absolutely. Right? You want to build these breathing moments in every 30 days. Speaking of breathing moments, you also want to build it into every day. Right? So I like the 3x20s, 20 minutes in the morning, 20 minutes midday, and 20 minutes in the afternoon or evening, where you just meditate, breathe, reflect, think, right? Just stop. Okay. So for me, I'm a systems person. You can tell I'm a systems person because everything in this sprint is a system. Right. And I'm teaching you this system um, because I really want it to work for you. I really want you to try it on for size. And maybe you're going to discover that the spring and the fall, I know that for Nina, she decided that the spring wasn't really her highest and best because it's during Easter. And she likes to take time out during Easter and Lent to reflect and to not be so busy. And that the summer was really more important for her. So this, you have to personalize it for you. But I'm giving you the blueprint, and then you have to add your personality pieces to it, right? And I look forward to hearing what those are, because maybe as time goes on, we'll iterate and we'll improve these things. Yeah, the Pomodoro method, absolutely, right? You get 80% of your results with 20% of your effort, right? And really setting a timer and getting your needle moving stuff done right off the bat, right? In the smallest concerted energy. So we could talk about time management, and we do talk about time management in the coaching circles, in the coaching club, but I can't drill down into all these tools because it's literally endless, guys. I mean, my tool bag is so full, and I love to share these things with people. But that's what our coaching club time is really for. And what I'm trying to do here is give you the best fits in a short period of time, leading into the sprint, and really set you up for some momentum. What I would also say is that during this sprint, you should find an accountability partner or two, because it really helps to have somebody to check in with. Now, I've given you an opportunity to check in with me. And I gave you, you can find the Elevate Coaching Club opportunity. And there is some special pricing on that. There's $1,000 discount if you take action, a fast action bonus before midnight tomorrow. And I would love to work with you. I would love to work with you and meet with you every Monday, 3 Mondays of the month at noon. And that would be a really awesome opportunity because there's so much just good training, but also good accountability and cadence in that group. You're going to learn from other people in that group, and then I'm going to bring my best bits to the table too. And you get to make it about you. You get to ask questions. You get to get feedback from the people there. And it really is an opportunity to get some of these ideas out of your head and voice them to other people that get it, right? They're seekers too. They're builders too. They're visionaries too. They're moving towards something better too. Instead of just the average person that might not be a goal setter type, right? And it can be very discouraging if you're surrounded with those type of people and you don't have any network. You're in a silo with all of this potential, right? But you have a lot of spinning and a lot of stewing and brewing going on because either you're always up in your head, or you're like a sawed-off shotgun, like I talked about, or you're burnt out. I mean, we talked about some of the before, right? And this group is really designed to help get you into that after lane, which is clear, confident, charged up, supported, accountable for your dreams, not my dreams, right? I want to help you accomplish your dreams, right? And really get clear on that. So that's my mission on the planet. And that's what gets me up, every day. I feel like I'm a product of the product, and I just naturally had an aptitude and a love for helping people be their best selves, and that's exactly what this is about. So your accountability partner or coach Those are a little bit different. You should ask some qualifying questions about that. I'm glad that you loved it, Ahmad. I'm really glad that you're here. You should ask some qualifying questions. One is the person that you're going to plug in with, and you should be asking this about any coach you're considering plugging in with too, right? Are they trustworthy? Do they walk their talk, right? Are they telling you to do one thing and then they're doing something different? Is there a disconnect, right? Because it's real easy for people to give advice, but they're not really coming from a place of integrity, right? Integrity being, I do what I say I'm going to do. And I do what I recommend you do, right? Do they listen, right? Is it all about them and their ego, or is it about you, right? You need somebody that has a space for you. Are they safe space for you? Are they going to keep the stuff that you hold dear, near and dear to your heart close to their heart? Or are they going to share it with a million people, right? It's really important to keep your dreams protected, right? Why is that? Well, if you think about it, when you plant a garden and you put a seed in the ground and you get a little tiny seedling, you don't go over to the little seedling and just douse it with water, right? You don't go over to the seedling and just like bake it in the sun. You baby it because it needs to get a bit bigger and get a little bit stronger. The stalk needs to get a little thicker before you give it more resources of water and sun and wind, so it can stand up to whatever the elements have to bring, right? Dreams are the same. You got to grow them up a little bit, and you have to have fertile soil. You have to protect them. So I want you to find a coach. If it's not me, then someone. I want you to find a coach or an accountability partner that will protect that space for you. Okay, it's really important. Really important. So those are some of the. Hey, Chad, so good to see you. Chad is a coaching victim, aren't you, Chad? He signed up for the privilege of meeting with me every other week, and he's still here. Chad, that says a lot. Apparently, I haven't traumatized you enough yet. No, it's really super amazing. Yeah, I use that word very facetiously, Chad. It's such a privilege to work with Chad. Chad owns a building, custom builder here in Wilmington, North Carolina. And I get the distinct privilege of meeting with Chad in my office in person. And I love that FaceTime. And it's just been such a blessing. Thank you, Chad. Thank you so much. I think what really helps in the one-on-ones, and I did mention in the video this morning, by the way, I have failed to offer information about the one-on-one opportunities. And I did say earlier in the week that there were 2 opportunities open. I had 5. I have 2 that will fit still into my schedule, but I protect those really fiercely. We love Chad. He's our Charlie. I love that. I protect them really fiercely. So we do set up a clarity call. If you are interested in one-on-one coaching, there is a preliminary step. There's kind of a qualification set of questions and whatnot, because I need to make sure that you're really in a place where you can be coachable and action. These items can become actionable, because that's when it's the most fun for both of us. Right, when we're really getting traction and you're really in the right space. So it isn't just the financial ability to qualify, if you will, and invest in yourself. It's also the ability to follow through and get the results. So, if you are interested in one of those one-on-one coaching opportunities, that's not fluff. There's not 20 spaces, and I'm just telling you there's 2. Okay, there really is just 2. And I'm really doing that because sometimes there's people that just need specific, they need more time to talk specifically about their business and the thing that they're building, and the group doesn't give them enough time to do that. So the one-on-one really gives us time to drill down into the strategies, the tools, and tactics in your particular situation and what it is that you're building. So love the opportunity to do that. But it is time I have to protect fiercely, because we both invest a lot of energy in that. And it's really important to me that you get the results that you're looking for. So if you are interested in learning more about that, then just raise your hand, Lillian at diamond-group.co, and Lillian will set up a clarity call for you, and we'll talk about it. We'll talk about what that looks like and whether or not that's a good fit for you and what that investment looks like in terms of time and resources. So happy to extend that. And thank you, Chad. Thank you for the recommendation. I really appreciate you, sir. And you, this is your third JumpStart challenge, right? Second, third. I don't know, 2 or 3. Anyways, I can't keep track. But it's super exciting, and I'm excited to come out with this book because it's going to give us an opportunity to give you a visual opportunity to digest too. Great. Give you a visual opportunity to digest some of this information about the sprint even further, because obviously in the course it is 2:40 already, and I just can't talk enough about momentum. So here's the thing about energy. I want you guys to become forces in nature, right? What does that mean? I don't mean plowing over everybody in your path. I mean that if stuff comes up, that you know you're equipped to handle it, right? I want you to write down the phrase, I don't know the way yet, but I'll find the way. I don't know the way yet, but I'll find the way. I don't know the way yet, but I'll find the way, right? Program your mind, right? When somebody says, how are you going to do that? I don't know the way yet, but I'll find the way. If somebody says, I don't think you can do that. Who do you think you are? Right? I don't know the way yet, but I'll find the way. Right? Because if the things that you specify are that important and that near and dear to your heart, I don't believe that those things that are planted in your heart are just an accident, you guys. I don't think it's an accident. I don't think you just pulled fluff out of the air and decided to integrate it into the core of your being. I believe that if there's those things that you know, that you know, that you know, that you know, I believe there's a bigger reason that you're doing that is connected to your purpose on this planet, and that it is part of your destiny to have, be, or do those things. And if that's the case, then get going. Get going. You only have one life. I only have one life, and time is limited. And who's coming to do it for you? No one is coming. No one is coming. I still get caught sometimes in the trap of wanting someone to come. Trust me, it would be so much easier if someone was coming. But they're not. They're not going to get me out of bed at 5 a.m. and drag me to the gym. They're just not. They don't care. Everybody's so caught up in their own stuff, their own pile of stuff, that they don't have time for my stuff. Well, guess what? I've done enough of this work myself over the last 30 years to develop room for your stuff too. Yeah, I have room for my sprint, but guess what? I have room for your sprint. I have room for your sprint because I've gotten enough of my own stuff systematized on autopilot so that I can make room. My heart is so full of service for you. Right? I want you to fulfill your purpose on this planet. I want you to walk into your destiny. I want you to be in your power, because honestly, I believe the power that's planted in you, that comes from a place above my pay grade. And so I trust it. I trust it. I don't know the way yet. Don't forget the word, Ahmad, yet. I don't know the way yet, which implies right off the get-go, but I will, right? It's just a matter of time. If not now, when? If not, who? If not you, who? Right? If not this, what? Are you going to take those desires of your heart, your destiny, your purpose, and you're going to second guess it? Are you going to engineer your own destiny? No. You might try, but there are things in you already that you cannot escape. I know this because I have tried. I have tried to escape. I have tried easier routes. I have tried paths that tension tangents. I've tried, going back and getting a job. I've tried. I'm psychologically unemployable at this point. I'm a terrible employee because once you know something, you can't unknow it. Now, would I go and get a job if I needed foundational income and I had to feed my family? Absolutely. I wouldn't stop. I would go get a job at Chick-fil-A or McDonald's today if I needed to. I would do it in a heartbeat. I would be like sprinting, right? Because I can't focus on health and happiness or legacy or destiny or purpose if I don't have safety and security. I already tried that. I tried it. It doesn't work. When your world is shaking financially, it is unstable. It is too hard to build visionary income. Can you do it? But it's a slugfest. It is like slogging your feet through mud, right? Give yourself the gift of safety and security so you can move on, right? You deserve it. Well, I am here for you and I want to work with you and I want to help you invest in those dreams, in that destiny, in that purpose, right? And if not now, when? Maybe that's okay. Then start in on this self-paced course for $97. You guys, that price is going to double on Monday. And for the people that even Chad, Nina, you guys have seen these prices go up. Why? Because my time is getting more and more limited as my businesses grow. Right? When I started this, I had 2 businesses and right now I have 4. Right? So my time is getting more limited because I'm having to multiply my efforts and my energy, my systems across the board, right? So I'm creating a coaching system that works for both of us so that we can get to our highest and best. Okay? And again, this is a passion project of mine. I practice reverse tithing. I love to give back to the community around me and to the planet, right? So I like to take this investment that you're making and you're investing in me and trust, and I like to use it as a seed for more investment in just like I talked about. Embrace International is one of them. The Auburn, Interfaith Food Closet is another one. And then I also have some local charities because I like to invest in my Wilmington community too, right? Because there are some things going on here, some shelters and some things that are amazing. People are doing some amazing work here locally too. So I like to look, locally, across the country, and then globally, right? And I like to invest in all of those layers because I believe that my ripple effect matters. Right? I tried to get off this train. I tried to get off this train, this coaching train, about 47,000 times. And God just kept pulling me back and pulling me back and pulling me back. And so now here I am, committed to you, committed to managing my energy in such a way that I can give you my highest and best. So I hope that you choose to invest in yourself because it really will matter. Right? And if you have the ability, I would say take the leap of faith to invest in the accountability, in the coaching club. And I'll tell you why. Because the people that you link arms with, right? Me included, when you ask yourself those questions, I think you'll find that we can check some boxes there, right? I'm gonna be thinking about the thing you're building when I get out of the shower in the morning. I'm gonna be thinking about the thing you're building when I'm on the beach, when I'm on, watching those dolphins. Did you see that video? Wasn't that amazing? There was like 5 dolphins right there yesterday. It was crazy. It was crazy cool. I'm going to be thinking about you and what you're building and how to help you even when I'm not with you. That's the way I work. That's the way it works, right? But if I don't know, I'm not a mind reader. So I need you I need you to put some feet on the street and have some faith and invest in yourself so that you can make that known to me, link arms with me in this club so that I can help and be an accountability that can really catapult you to the next level. So guys, you're awesome. This has been an awesome week. I don't want to be forget prizes. I only have a $5 bill here today because I was going to go to the bank and get the $350 bills, but the $350 bills still exist. And I did promise I was going to give 3 prizes today for homework, right, of cash. And the reason I want to give cash is because I'm investing just like you're investing, right? And this is just energy flowing from me to you. Yes, absolutely, Nina. One of those is for Rita. Rita, you have been buoyant this week. You have shown up every day. You have posted videos. You have done your homework. You have invested in this group. You have invested in us. Thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. And yes, absolutely, one of those is for you. I would say I need to go back into the feed to determine who those other 2 winners are, because honestly, I haven't had a chance to do that. So we have 2 mystery winners, and I'm going to publish it in the email that comes out later today. So I will publish that, and we will make sure that those get to the right people. Lillian will be reaching out to those people to make sure we have your correct contact information and we know how to get that to you. But I'm so excited for you. I'm excited for you to try on this sprint for size, to add your personality, pieces to it, and to make it really work for you. And I'm looking forward to hearing what your 3 targets are, right? 1 physical, 1 financial, and 1 of your choice, right? So you guys, play 100%. Keep playing 100%. And if you know people that that really need to hear this content this week, that are stalled or stuck, or fearful, or just in a negative place and not their highest and best right now, and share it with them. It's not too late. This content is gonna the videos and everything will live in the group for the next couple weeks. The special pricing does expire on Sunday night at midnight. So that fast action bonus piece will go away. However, the opportunities will still exist. You can still plug in and you can still view that content for some time. And then we will go forward into the sprint. And I will see you next Friday. And if you decide to opt into the coaching club, our very first meeting will not be this Monday. It will be the Monday after that. So I think that is the 26th. So onward and upward. Rock stars, you're amazing. Put on your armor, be a warrior, set your targets, get ready for your sprint, organize your physical environment, post your targets, make it visible, get your tools and resources together, get your mind in the game. Double high fives. I appreciate all of you. I hope you guys have a great day. And I hope it was the jumpstart you were looking for. You always get out of it what you put in. So I applaud you. Thank you so much. Have a great day.